Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Sheffer, the Director of Education for the FoolProof Foundation. Welcome to FoolProof Minnesota. This is our webinar for all teachers in the state of Minnesota for using FoolProof. The webinar will be about 20 minutes long. It'll take you into a deep dive into the FoolProof curriculum. The back end is a FoolProof teacher, how to create your curriculum, how to set up your classes, and some of the things that FoolProof will do for you as a teacher. That includes tracking the progress of your students, the easy grading of the FoolProof modules, and a little bit of a look into the assignments and activities. So the first thing we'll do, we'll just set up with a little screen share. And this is our foundation page, the FoolProof Foundation. Again, FoolProof has a middle school and high school financial literacy life skills curriculum. We're a little unique in the way that we do our financial literacy. We embed our modules with videos that actually talk to your students, not at your students. There are text pages, pre and post tests. And of course, our curriculum is based on teaching your students critical thinking skills, relying on research, and being a healthy skeptic. So for Minnesota, you can go right to the FoolProofMinnesota.org site. That'll be everything that you need to register and to be a foolproof teacher in the state of Minnesota. Again, it's FoolProofMinnesota.org. My contact information is Mike Sheffer. I'm the Director of Education for the FoolProof Foundation. I taught in New York State for 32 years, personal finance and economics. I'm the original FoolProof teacher. FoolProof actually started in my classroom in Corning, New York. We had one module, one class, one teacher, and our growth has been exponential from that time. Once I retired from teaching in August of 2017, I became the full-time Director of Education for the FoolProof Foundation. So I can be reached at mike@foolproofhq.com. My cell phone number is 607-346-0520. Please reach out to me directly if you have any questions in regards to FoolProof Minnesota, implementing FoolProof into your classrooms, or anything else that you may run into. All right, so we're going to go to FoolProofMinnesota.org. So this is our website for the state of Minnesota. Everything that you need is here. You'll be able to log in at this site. Just to give you some information on the FoolProof site, there's a ton of information on here for you, information-based, all these different articles and videos. This is besides the curriculum that's available for FoolProof. Again, being a FoolProof teacher, you have all this available to you. So if you have students that are looking to buy a car, or you have students that are going off to college, we have guides, we have videos, we have articles, and of course we have guides like we were talking about, car buying guide, student loan guide, and again, some of your adult learners may be into home buying guide, but also we want to make sure that our teachers feel comfortable in their own personal finance. So we have created this site for everyone to use. And remember, FoolProof is 100% free. There is no we're not bound by anyone's money, so all of our information will be directly independent to the end user, the teacher, the student, anything in that effect. And our curriculum was developed by consumer advocates and teachers across the country. All right, so we're going to go to FoolProof for the classroom. The first thing you want to do is you got to become a FoolProof teacher. So you go to login, you click on login, and you go to teacher login. And since you're a first-time user of FoolProof, we're going to have to vet you to make sure you are an educator or a leader of a community group. We don't want teachers in the back. We don't want students to become FoolProof teachers. So inside of 24 hours, we'll send you a username and password after we vetted to make sure you were a teacher. So you click on request access here. Fill out this very short form. Again, FoolProof doesn't do anything with your information. It just gives us the ability to make sure you are who you are. You send this form in, inside of 24 hours, you will get a username or password. So you go back to FoolProof Minnesota, you go to login, and you go ahead and type in your username or password right here. Once you do that, you're a foolproof teacher. This is the back end of Foolproof. This is everything that we have, from curriculum to teaching guides to support panels and everything else. So you can see as we kind of browse this, we have a program which is called FoolProof Anywhere. If you're teaching remotely or if you're in a hybrid schedule, kind of gives you a plan here of how to use Foolproof outside of the classroom, which a lot of people are, because we are not in normal times when it comes to an educational process. This video is being recorded and it's going to be sent to the state of Minnesota. So you'll have access to this video, and then you can go ahead and review it anytime you want to if you've missed something. But we also have another video out here that's all ledgered in the process of how to create a class, how to create a curriculum, how to check the progress of your students. We have quick start guides for you, for teachers and students, how to set up a class, and of course, everything else. When you go into Foolproof, you can go to your own personal account, your sign-in details. What we would suggest is you change your password, because we're going to give you a random password. And anytime that you feel that maybe your account has been jeopardized or anything to that effect, it's always nice to be able to change your password. If you switch schools, you just let us know your school district that you're changing to, and then of course we can formulate all your information to your new school. And of course we have frequently asked questions. So you can go to the frequently asked question page, and if there's something that comes up, you take a look at these. Again, if the question isn't answered, go ahead and reach out to me at mike@foolproofhq.com. And inside of 24 hours, we hope to answer your question. We kind of have a rule on that. We know how important it is for you to get back into your classroom if you're using Foolproof, so we want to make sure that your question is answered. We also have all the teaching tips, different things all the way through here. Again, this is a digital curriculum. It's 100% free. It aligns 100% to the standards in the state of Minnesota for personal finance. Everything you need is on this website as you go through it. So let's go back to home. The yellow box here kind of gives you the updates that happen to Foolproof over the summer. We always update Foolproof. We take all the suggestions from teachers and students over the school year, and then we do an upgrade over the summer. These are all the new things that were put into it, a lot of cool things, and this all came from teachers across the country. But let's start looking at how are you going to use Foolproof in your curriculum. You can use it multiple ways. You can use Foolproof as a supplement curriculum. You can actually use our modules and put it into your lesson plans. You may be using Foolproof in, personal finance in a civics class, and you want to just do a small part of personal finance. If you use modules only in Foolproof and your normal class period is 45 to 60 minutes and you use all 18 modules, it would take you about 2.5 weeks in class time to do Foolproof. You can also drop it into an economics class or any other class that you feel that you want to teach personal finance. Since we align 100% to the standards in the state of Minnesota, and of course that we have pre and post tests so you can see the data, this information that is taught in Foolproof will actually meet the standard in the state of Minnesota. You also can use Foolproof as a full curriculum. If you're teaching a personal finance class, you could use Foolproof modules, assignments, and activities. I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. And that would incorporate 20 weeks of curriculum, a full semester. So there's a lot of ways that you can use Foolproof. And once you become a Foolproof teacher, you can do it any way you want. So we'll go to components. And again, you can't break Foolproof. You can go through, you can play with it. I would never put anything in my classroom I haven't vetted. We have a lot of schools in the state of Minnesota using us now. But also, if I'm a new user to Foolproof, take a look at what we do. So if you're a middle school teacher, you can just go to middle school components. You can see that we have 9 modules for middle school. The middle school would take roughly 20 to 30 minutes per module. And of course, if you had 9 modules, it would take you right around, 9 class periods to complete. 9 class periods could almost, I look at it about a week and a half. Please use our teaching guides for setup to the lesson and some post-teach. But the setup foolproof middle school and high school is exactly the same thing. You go through and you pick your modules. You can see the core messages. The teacher has the ability to view the modules. You can see the tests. Of course, if you have to paper and pencil the test, you can download test keys. Most teachers will have the students go out on their devices and take the test online, and we grade those for you. In the middle school, we have seen and we have written it that it can be used all the way down to the 5th grade and all the way up, to the 8th grade. In the process, we have schools that use it in 8th grade civics class, and the teachers are telling us that the students are having some interest in credit card, earning income, maybe even investing. You can create a curriculum by using both middle school and high school components. It's very simple to do. You do it exactly how I'm going to show you how to create the high school curriculum. You pick the modules, you hit submit, and then of course the curriculum is created. So don't think that you only have to use middle school modules with middle school students. Again, as a foolproof teacher, you have full reign of everything that we have here on Foolproof. So let's take a look at the high school curriculum. Okay, the high school curriculum is our largest curriculum. We have 18 modules. 16 of the 18 modules have pre-tests and post-tests. 2 of the modules are guided practice, gives the students some practical aspects of guiding them through some of the financial literacy components. But you can see we have all the modules, anywhere from you in the role of free enterprise system, you in credit, critically evaluating marketing and advertising, and again, all the way through budgeting, buying a home, renting an apartment. There's a module on, there's issues with high school betting, especially with sports betting. So we put a module in there. And then of course, who needs money is earning an income, going to college, taxation, insurance, and then investing. So there's 18 modules. You can view them all. Just click on core message or view the module. You as a teacher can look through all the modules yourself. And then when you're done looking at them, you just click on return to teacher panel. Okay, we also have assignments in Foolproof. The assignments are done. The cool thing about the assignments, you can pick them for your student, which ones that you want to use. The students will complete them on their Foolproof, student record, and then they'll just submit them to you. So the student doesn't have to step out onto Word or put it into Note or all those different outside technology things. All they have to do is complete the assignment right on Foolproof. They send it to you. And again, you have the ability to review their assignment, send it back to them. They do the corrections, and then the final time they can send it to you and you can grade it. Now, this is a 20-minute webinar. Usually we come to the state of Minnesota. We would come to St. Paul Public Schools. We'd be asked to do a professional development. We would spend 3 hours with you in the process of showing you all the things that Foolproof does. Everything is on the website. Every question is there, or answered every question. If not, reach out to me, Mike at foolproofhq.com. So I'm going to show you how to create a curriculum, and we're just going to do modules only, just to give you an idea. But again, assignments and also activities. Now, one teacher asked me, I think they were in Texas, I think. I got the email last week that he was setting up his curriculum and he didn't know what modules to do before the assignments and everything else. One of my suggestions is, before you do any assignments, it's always good to do at least the first 8 modules. Reason being is we do all the teaching in the modules. The assignments is our assessments of the teaching if the student shows understanding. So my thought would be first 8 modules, pick the assignments that you want, then you can piecemeal the modules from there and the assignments and going forward. Again, the most of our usage out of Foolproof, because our 18 modules meets the standards in the state of Minnesota for personal finance by doing modules only. Most teachers are using just the modules and supplementing in their courses. If you are teaching a personal finance class, you can use Foolproof, and I've done it, as a full 20-week curriculum. You use the modules, use our teaching guides, use our assignments and activities. And believe me, I had to hustle to get through all of it in 20 weeks. So it was really fun for me to see the things that we created being used practically. All right, we're going to create a curriculum. All you do is you go to create a curriculum. Now remember, let's say we're going to do high school. Let's say I have 3 classes that I want to use this in. Now my curriculum is different than creating a class. My curriculum is what all my students are going to see. So we're just going to call this, let's just call it personal finance, and we're going to call it spring 2021, and we're going to create an A curriculum. Okay, so if I have 3 classes in the spring of 2021, and I'm going to use FoolProof as my personal finance curriculum, I'm going to supplement it into modules, I would just have to click on this, and I'll show you how to do that. So you vetted us, you've looked at us, and you said, hey, listen, I want to use all the FoolProof modules. Just hit check all. If you go ahead and decide that you don't want to use giving versus getting, which is giving back to your community, you take it out. Okay? If you didn't want to use insurance, you could take it out. Now, I will tell you, there is a standard in insurance in the state of Minnesota, so you may want to leave that one in. But let's say you just pick all 18. You're not going to do any assignments and activities. You've just decided you're going to use modules. You go ahead and click on save. Now, we've just saved this curriculum, and you can see I do an awful lot of webinars. This is just like last week's. But the idea that we've created, we've called that Personal Finance Spring 2021A. So there's our curriculum. You can change it if you want, and you can delete it. It's kind of nice that, if you make a change, it's fine. Just remember, when your students have started it, if you make the change, it'll only change on the modules that they haven't started yet. Okay, so a lot of times make the change early if you see it. Once that's done, your curriculum is created. Now you're going to create a class. Now remember, curriculum and class are 2 different things. So I'm going to go up ahead and I'm going to create a class. I click on class. I'm going to set up a new class. And now we're going to be more specific in our name. So let's say you have a personal finance class, and let's say it's period 8, and it's in the spring of 2021. Now all your students now will be entered into this class, and I'll show you how to do that. But the curriculum and the class are different. And it doesn't matter the grade, but let's say it's 11, 12, we'll put it in. Now, remember, you would have one curriculum created. I'm going to have a bunch. You just click on your curriculum, and of course, there it is, Personal Finance Spring 2021A. All right, select standards in the state of Minnesota. You click on your standards, and this is really cool. When your students finish the module and successfully pass the module exam, the standard that they've have met will be checked off. So if someone says, wait a minute, you're using an online program to teach these personal finance standards, how does it align? You can show them. And when I say it's usually an administrator. Remember, 32 years in the classroom, I've been observed a few times. And then you go in the process of showing them how this is what the student has learned. You can show them the pre-test score, the post-test score, and the standard checked off. Kind of a neat program. Class instruction, this is what I always do. So today is 11/3. I would say, welcome to FoolProof. Follow the instructions when you sign in. And then every time that I wanted to leave my class a note, I would date it. Because every time they sign in, they see this. So you're able to, a student wasn't there, they were absent, you were absent. Of course, you can do this anywhere, it's digital. In the process, you have a record of what you've told your students to do. All right, let's finish setting up your class. Smartboard class. What this means is, if you clicked yes, you would actually use FoolProof as an interactive textbook with your students. put it up on a smart board, put it up on a screen, go through everything with them. And then when you got to the exams, the students would get their devices and they would take the exam. It's used and it's a great function, but mostly now because of remote education and everything else, you want the students to do it on their own. You're going to check no. The grading method's kind of cool. We just added this, highest grade. So select grading method, you're going to go highest grade. And then if the students want to retake the test to do better, okay, let's say they fail the first one. We don't want our students fail in personal finance. If they don't do the work, if they don't put in the effort, I get it. But if it's a content issue and they have the ability to redo the module and retake the tests are randomized to questions. They're not getting the same questions. So I like the student to get the highest grade, okay? Because let's say the student got a 60 and you set the pass score at 70, okay? The student takes it again and gets a 75 and says, listen, I want to take it one more time because you've reset the test at 3, and or they do it this way. They get 65, they get 80, and they take it again and they get 70. The 80 score will count. So it just kind of gives them a little bit of motivation. I believe, especially remotely, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna auto reset the test to yes. So if your students are remote and they're not with you, they don't have to wait for you to reset the test. If they don't meet the number, they get to go and do it themselves, and they have the ability to review, and they of course have the ability to take it again. I like to give them 3 attempts. I think that's fair. Okay, and now you can set the score. Now, I know they got to pass the class to get credit, but in the state of Minnesota, personal finance is not a graduation requirement. So you can challenge your students because you know they're going to get a second chance or third chance to take the test. So I used to put 65 cents on the front table in my class, 80 cents on the table, and $1 on the table. And I used to tell my students, the state of New York says you're worth 65 cents on a dollar. Now, we haven't talked about taxation yet, I get that, but 65 is passing in New York. I said, does anybody want to challenge it and try to keep 80% or 80 cents of their dollar? Because the more knowledge you have in personal finance, the less likely you are to make mistakes. And then I would challenge students to get 100. Now, I understand that you can't go to your administrator and say, listen, he didn't pass because he didn't get 80. But we've given you options here of what to choose. So let's say the passing score, Minnesota 65, you put it at 65, okay? FoolProof has a special education version for FoolProof for high schools. Any students that have accommodations, diverse learners, we have the ability to set their account as special education. Now, you don't want to set your entire class to the special education version of FoolProof. Keep it in the regular account, but I will show you how to do it individually for the students here in a minute. Now, once you're all set, you hit submit. This number becomes your class code, CPM57B3. You give that class code to your students. Now, if you're doing it in the classroom, write it up on a whiteboard. Have them go to FoolProofMinnesota.org, have them go to login, student login. Is it your first time here? Yes. They enter that code. It's going to ask them. I created a class, so it's going to say, is Mike Sheffer your teacher? Of course, that'll be your name. They click yes. Your students create their username or password. They're in your class. That's how fast it is. Now we have a student guide for that. So in case you have to do this remotely, you can set up your classroom. You can send your students that code and then send them the PDF of the Quick Start Guide for Students. Tells them exactly how to do it because you're not there teaching them unless you're doing it on a Zoom call. Username and password, that's all we want from students. We don't take any information from students. Now remember, there's a ton of users of FoolProof. So if you have a student named Bill Smith and he puts in B Smith, it may say there's already one of those. There's a good chance of it. So then have them put B and M, or B and M for Michael, and then Smith, and then he puts his initials in, he's fine. Okay, that's it. That's how you create your class. That's how you get your students involved in the class. You'll be able to see it as it goes through. So I'm going to show you quickly a class that I've set up. You go to class overview. These are the classes that I've set up. Here's my demo class. And this is what you would see. I have 4 students in my class. Okay. I kept it wide open. I didn't select middle, high school, everything. I just kept it kind of open so you could see it. But here's the cool thing about FoolProof. You can check the student's progress. So if you go ahead and hit the progress bar, my 4 students, again, I only set up high school. The green box means that the student has completed the module and successfully passed the test. They're done with it. The percentage means that they have some more to do. So you can check the progress of your students from any device at any time. It's real time. This student still has 1% of the module and they haven't taken a test yet. You can see there's nothing in here, so they haven't started it yet. This symbol means, the green and the red means that they've completed the module, but they failed the test. Okay? So you can track your students' progress from anywhere. Now, you want to check their grades. This is how it's formulated. So the first number is a pretest. FoolProof has embedded in the first couple of slides of 16 of the 18 modules pretest questions that actually ask questions of the knowledge that's going to be covered in the module. So Martina got 40% on her pretest. When she finished the module, she got 13 out of 16 questions right, got 81%. Her standard learning objective of increased knowledge is 41%. Here's a great stat for you. In the 2019-2020 school year, of all students that took a module test, pre and post, the standard learning objective of knowledge was 32.4% over all those students. So what we're teaching is the ability to make great financial literacy decisions using critical thinking skills, relying on research and being a healthy skeptic. And we're able to prove that the student's knowledge has increased in the program that FoolProof provides. It's kind of cool. We do it here for your entire class. And then when your students are done, these are their numbers. So you have your data. When they submit their assignments to you, it comes to their code. You can go ahead and you can submit their grades that come to the inbox. You can take a look. You have the ability to share FoolProofs with another teacher. All that teacher has to do is be a FoolProof teacher. You go ahead and, let's say you're in a classroom, has a teaching assistant, and you want them to have full access to the FoolProof account. All you have to do is share the information with them. Very simple to do. We explain how to do it. All right, let's take a look at the individual student. Martina, we have made into the special education account of FoolProof. This is how you do it individually. Everybody's going to be in the regular account when they come in. When Martina registers for your class, click on her name and switch it to special education. She'll never know that she's in a different curriculum. It looks the same. The wording in the modules are a little bit shorter. And of course, the evaluations are shorter questions and less options in the answer. Okay. You can see that if you had to transfer Martina from one class to another, let's say she was taking your personal finance class and her schedule got changed and she went into another colleague's, you could go ahead and transfer all her information to the new teacher. As long as that teacher's a FoolProof teacher, Martina does not have to do anything extra. And you want to see her grades individually, what time she took the test, Here's her pre-test. Here's her post-test. Everything that's there for Martina. It's kind of cool as it goes through. All right. So I kind of went quickly through how to create a curriculum, how to create a class. We have guides for you here, quick start guides. You have this video, of course, that will be up on YouTube, and your school administrator will send it to you so you have it. And then everything we have is here. We have the support, of course, and if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm Mike at FoolProofHQ.com. Thanks for sticking with me today, and hope everything goes well in your school year, and be safe and be healthy. And please reach out if you have any questions to Mike at FoolProofHQ.com. Thanks for everything. We appreciate you being with us today. Right. And like I said, be safe. Okay. And be healthy.